Nate Wall of Arkansas High, Morgan Smith of Game Day, and Jay Davis of State Bank in Pleasant Grove.
Yes, sir.
What you think, Nate?
Good morning to y'all.
There you go. Well, how's it? Started off 4-0. Y'all are 4-2 now. Doesn't get any easier going to Parkview. What do you do to prepare to, get back in the winning column?
We're just trying to watch as much film as we can right now. We know it's going to be a tough game going in, but we're going to give everything we got. We know we got the guys to do it. So
We were coming in throwing 11 TD passes, and looks like Parkview's only giving up about 13.6 points per game. What's your game plan as far as y'all going to try to speed this game up? You just going to try to have it high scoring game, or you going to try to control it?
I think we're going to try and throw a lot of quick passes, but at the same time try and slow the game down so they don't have as much possession time.
Who's the receivers that you've really started to connect with?
Telly Wells, he's a transfer from LE, and DeAndre Brunell. He's sophomore, big. I don't know what he's doing with all that size.
Yeah, I've noticed, a lot of them clips that you and Telly Wells, man, they just going all over the internet.
I saw you play. God, what's it been, like 3 years ago for the first time? And I remember, 8-man. And you don't really know how that transitions, but it looks like it's transitioned well for you. Use your feet a lot. Obviously, great with the pass. Every game, it's obvious you're a dual threat quarterback. I guess my question is, enjoy running or passing more?
I don't know. I like both. Running is fun. I get to go score touchdowns and sometimes, get to run over people. But passing, I don't know, it's just more electric plays, especially with the playmakers I have.
How much time during the, off-season, summertime, did you and, Telly put in, how much, during the summer?
Well, he didn't end up coming in until halfway or maybe into summer. But we put in as much time as we could after practice, before practice, every chance we could get.
All right, Nate, what I've got here, I saw you to camp back at Ouachita Baptist back, I want to believe it was in June.
I think so.
And you ran like a 4.45, correct?
Something like that.
What are your college plans going to be?
I don't know yet. I know this weekend I'm going to a game day visit at Arkansas Tech, but not sure. Ouachita told me they liked me, but still trying to fill it out.
Keep putting up those numbers. It'll all come around.
Yes, sir.
So how is it to play for Coach Outlaw?
He's always on us, making sure we're serious, but also he's laid back at times. So it's a pretty good experience.
So, Nate, big game coming up this week. I know y'all dropped the last two close games. What have you done to prepare yourself going forward? So changing anything, swapping anything up?
Trying to keep the team more focused at practice. Camden week, we didn't have a very good week of practice at all. We went in thinking, oh, they lost to Lakeside. They're not all that. And we just weren't very focused that week. Lakeside, we had a good week of practice. We just didn't execute on the field defensively and sometimes offensively. So this week we're just trying to have a really good week of practice, focus up, because it's a big game, like you said. So,
what's a playoff? How's that shaping up? What does that look like right now?
Right now we have to win Hot Springs, D Queen, and Hope to make playoffs.
D Queen's a pretty stout opponent. I've been keeping up with them.
Not as stout as Arkansas High, though.
I was wondering if I was sensing sarcasm.
I was waiting on Ben to say
I didn't know. I was like, I hadn't watched them this year. I don't know. Maybe they are good.
No, I was waiting on Ben.
They're a hard-nosed football team. The 5A South is arguably the toughest conference in the state, and you get to go play at War Memorial. Mm-hmm. Are you looking forward to getting to play in the big stadium? Probably ain't going to be a big crowd because it's so big. You can still have 5,000-10,000 people there and look empty. But
is that this week you playing War?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun experience.
And Parkview's a beast, but Arkansas High goes in there, they handle their business, get a couple turnovers. Mm-hmm. You
Yep.
got a chance.
Oh,
You know, Ben got carted out of War Memorial last time the Hogs played there.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they didn't have enough water for him. He passed out.
I got carted out of there a few times in the late 90s, too. But that was a long time ago.
Carted out or handcuffed out?
Well, this time, because he's so old, he passed out because they ran out of water. It was so hot.
I don't want to get super off subject, but everybody I've talked to has talked about how bad of an experience.
War Memorial.
Like, are they going to
Hey,
continue to
our
play
man,
there?
Our man, Ben, he made like what paper was that? The Imperial?
Arkansas Times, the most liberal rag in the state of Arkansas, but they called and interviewed me.
Says a lot about you accepted the interview.
Yeah, right. Oh, he was bragging about it, too. He was sending me, and I was like, oh, okay.
Now
Ben.
he's talking trash about him?
Yeah.
Golly, man.
Oh, we're not talking trash. We're just speaking facts.
But, Nate, that's going to be a big man, what other stage in Arkansas would be a better stage than play at that field, I guess?
Razorback Stadium for one, Arkansas Tech Stadium.
I'd rather play at LSU Stadium.
Yeah.
Something that Morgan touched on earlier, but I had it wrote down about your transition from Trinity. You were putting up PlayStation stats over there, 500, 600, 700 yards a game. But, if people follow you the last 2 years, you still come and put up some PlayStation stats in the 5A South, and I think that's something that needs to be mentioned that, you came from 8-man and you came to 11-man in the best conference in the state in 5A and have still dominated.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of when you look into the stands? I mean, what type of support are you seeing from the community, and how are they going to travel this week?
Our community plays a big role every single week. They get us hyped. Like the past couple of weeks, we've had big third, fourth downs. They have gotten so into it, so that's really helped. But traveling wise, I think we'll have a pretty decent crowd. Little Rock, it's not too far away, but I think they'll show up and show out.
Just a little easy trip down I-30.
That's
yes,
right.
sir.
And Nate can play a little baseball too. I got a funny story about Nate.
Oh no.
We went to the World Series when Nate was 14, and we were loaded. We had a really good team, and I was big on my signals, my calls. We had numbers. We were very, very orchestrated. Well, actually, we called out numbers and letter combinations. Well, anyway, we were big on stealing bases, and I'm big on taking that first pitch and getting out of that double play. And there'd be certain times we wouldn't. Now, Nate was the one kid that I ever got onto for stealing 2 bases and not getting thrown out. But Nate was going to take off regardless because he was so fast and he knew he could do it.
Nothing wrong with a
So
little
maybe wasn't
confidence.
listening to his coach, is what you're saying.
Yes, but here's the deal.
Well, we're not going to sit up here and talk about Ben's coaching skills because, he coached my son, too.
Yeah, you do realize how tough that was having to coach boys from Hooks and Texarkana? I mean, I was behind the 8 ball
And
and
you had
talent
to
right
use
then.
numbers and letters with them?
Now we didn't really do signs.
Oh, it's getting deep.
We touched the hat and the belt, and right here, and that was it because that's all they could take in.
Well, Nate, tell us about your offensive line, man. I know them big guys, they do a lot for you. What kind of working relationship you got with them guys?
There's been a big improvements from last year. Last year, I don't know if y'all remember, but I was just every single play running for my life. This year, I've got a little bit more time. They've just improved a lot, especially with the help of Coach Carr. He's really got them whipped up into shape.
Yeah, it always helps to have a good offensive line, guys that believe in you, and especially they want to keep you safe out there.
Yes, sir.
Buddy was an offensive lineman. He watched the other offensive lineman play.
Yeah, so I learned a lot by watching. Yeah.
They've really assembled a great staff over there at Arkansas High. 3 of the ones that stand out, of course, is Outlaw, the head hog. Then you got Trent Wilson, who I think is a fabulous coach in baseball and football both. And then you got former Razorback Dennis Johnson. What does that wealth of knowledge and experience, bring to the kids?
It really helps, especially with Cortland. Coach Johnson was coaching him all year, so that really helped. He was in less trouble all the time. He was also performing a lot better with the drills Coach Johnson was giving him, but also with Coach Outlaw, he's a serious guy, like I said earlier, but he knows when to be laid back and when to have fun and push us to be our best. So
Now the freshman Tony Noble, I explained to these guys here, they're Texas guys, and we have a different culture in Arkansas. 99% of the time your freshmen are going to play on your junior high team. You know, and him being a freshman and getting moved up to play varsity is a big deal in Arkansas. What kind of player is he this year, and what can he be?
You know, I really didn't even know he was a freshman when he first came up. He's my height. He's pretty big, up close in person. But he's a solid running back. He cuts really well. He's quick. He can also be that power back when you need him to. So he's a really good back to have back there.
So when you're on the sideline over there in a tight situation, does Coach Outlaw let you pick a play, or does he tell you what to do, or?
Sometimes I'll give him suggestions, and he'll base what we do off of that. But it's not like I get to go out on the field and tell him what we're doing. So
Right. Well, I know.
Just try it, see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I know sometimes you get caught up. You playing a tough game. Put it in my hands, Coach. I feel like I can do it. I got it.
most definitely.
Right.
Now, Nate, I've noticed you got something coming in right here.
Hey, now.
You can't shave that till you make the playoffs. If he makes playoffs, you can't shave it till it loses.
You gonna have a mustache for baseball season?
Probably not.
Well, what are you looking forward to the most out of this game? I mean, what are you looking at as far as improvement? What are you looking at as far as what your expectations are?
Honestly, I'm just looking forward to us going and play this big weapon of a team, and seeing how we can perform against it. This will kind of give us an idea of what we're gonna look at if we make playoffs, and what type of teams we'll be facing, and how we will be able to match up against that. So
You just got to treat them like any other team.
Right.
Don't let that hype of whatever their ranking is, coming in. Just play them like, just anybody.
Mm-hmm.
They're young men just like you.
Yep.
It's funny, back in the 90s, even the 80s, Little Rock Parkview was probably one of the premier basketball schools.
Oh,
and,
really?
Not just in the state of Arkansas, but in the country. I mean, they churned out D1 kids over and over. And it is now completely flip-flopped to where Little Rock Parkview is a power in football in Arkansas. And, 20, 25 years ago, that was not the case. They were
Is
the
that the team I
doormat.
hear about that can legally recruit or something?
Well, they're a magnet school.
What does that mean?
Yeah, Arkansas does this
What is
magnet
that?
stuff.
When I think of magnet school, I think of only smart kids go there.
Well,
Yeah.
like Bird's a magnet school down in Shreveport. They can bring kids in.
Is that the same thing as consolidation?
No, sir.
Oh, okay.
Magnet means that they offer, certain higher level, classes and field studies, so they can go and recruit kids.
But in Arkansas now, you can go to school wherever you want, right? Did I hear that somewhere? Because of something they passed?
Some of them are school choice. Some of them are not.
No, they passed something where you get some sort of voucher, you can go anywhere.
It's not completely implemented yet.
Oh, okay.
But, they're getting to where you can, pretty much go where you want. But I don't think that comes in play till maybe 25, 26. And
Nate,
I could be wrong on that, but I know it's not fully implemented.
All right, school board meeting's over with. Nate, I got a question. So, every week you throw for a ton of yards. Do you tell yourself, or is there like a goal that you set with yourself? Hey, I'm going to go out here and throw for. My goal is to throw for 250. Or my goal is to throw for 300.
No, I set goals for the game, obviously, but not personal goals. I'm more focused on, trying to get the win first. I'm not really worried about all the yards and stats. I mainly look for how many touchdowns I can throw to Telly Wells. How can I make these guys successful instead of myself?
Man, that's a great answer right there.
Hey, that couldn't have been better.
Hey, you're right. Hey, it's all about getting that team W. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it.
It appears Lakeside's much better than everybody, thought going into the year. Mm-hmm. Where do you think Lakeside, matches up with Hot Springs at this point?
I personally think they're probably equal playing field. They've both got really, really good squads, good weapons at the receiving core. I don't know much about Hot Springs quarterback. Defensive-wise, I think Hot Springs defense is a lot better than the Lakeside, so I think we'll have a little bit more of a challenge with them.
How much time do you spend this week watching on that film?
Probably at school, before practice, after practice, at home. I try and watch as much as I can.
Right.
Have you caught any tendencies yet? And please don't tell us, but have you caught any tendencies on that defensive side that you may be able to get an extra play in or two?
I'm just going to leave it a yes.
Okay, good deal. Good deal.
All right. Does anybody else have anything for Nate or?
Oh man, it's good.
Just
to see
good
you,
luck.
man.
Good
Yeah.
to see y'all. Thank
Good
y'all.
luck. Go down there to War Memorial and put that W up.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Represent them hogs.
Bring your own water.
Yeah. Ben can tell you about that.
Or you can bring some empty water bottles. They've got a few fountains you can fill up with. It's got a little tinge to it, but it'll drink. Thank you for coming.
We'll be right back.
We are excited to announce here at Texarkana Emergency Center and Hospital that we have expanded our capabilities to better serve our community. As a hospital, we have the capability for inpatient services. After your outstanding emergency care, we can smoothly transition you into one of our new inpatient rooms that have telemetry monitors in every room to continue your concierge medicine care. While our patients continue receiving their care in their inpatient suites, we also make sure that your loved ones are taken care of with our outstanding facilities. Our added services include a procedure room and also the capability of MRIs. With our imaging, we are able to offer outpatient, inpatient, and emergency room MRI, CT, ultrasound, and X-ray. We are honored by your support and look forward to serving all your future medical needs.
And we are back for the second segment of episode 9. Had a good interview there with Nate Wall, and
I like Nate.
he's a great representative for Arkansas High and one heck of a player. Guess we'll start off and go right into our players of the week. For Texarkana Friday Night Lights, and I'll say this, we generally have a rule, you have to win to get our award, but on our defensive side, it was such a domination that we had to recognize him. Cameron Hadaway of LE, 22 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 1 sack.
Had a big game, man. Big game.
It's a great game by Cameron. They did not get the win versus Spring Hill. It looks like Spring Hill's better than what we thought they were. But kudos to Cameron.
Yeah, man. Spring Hill, evidently, I got up here and talked a bunch of trash. And evidently they showed their kids that like 3 times Friday.
Right.
Oh,
I
wow.
was like,
This is an alumni.
yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm welcome back there anymore.
Hey, yeah, so I thought about the same thing when what you said last week about Spring Hill and you being from Spring Hill, and then Spring Hill pulled out that W. I thought, man, Morgan better not ever. I mean, they're looking for him to come in the city limits.
Listen, man, there's a lot of stuff I care about. What they think is one of them.
Well, on the offensive side of the ball, this is a no-brainer. I mean, he's been getting accolades all over the state of Texas this week. Akari Johnson, quarterback of Pleasant Grove, one of the best performances we've seen him have. 331 total yards, 6 touchdowns, and an 81% completion percentage.
I don't know if I've ever seen a single game performance as game day like I did the other night. Like
He never looked like he was stressed, out of control. I mean, he made it look easy.
I mean, he was the best player on the football field, and it was obvious.
Yeah, I went back and watched, bits and pieces of it, and it's like he could do nothing wrong. Everything that he was doing was going in his favor, and he's fast. Nobody could catch him. I mean, he was just all over the place.
And in the decision-making, too. I mean, he made the right decision. Not only put up big numbers, but you could tell over and over the right decision was made. Do I tuck it? Do I throw it? Everything worked out.
Yeah. I mean, he had a huge game.
Well, so, I don't guess the word is over-prepare for Gilmer, but I think that they wanted to solidify that victory, and that's exactly what they did.
I reminded Coach when he came out after halftime, remember what they did last year.
Right.
You know, because they put some unnecessary points up. And look at the scoreboard. He did not forget.
Right.
And it could have been worse.
As Dion says, Gibson kept receipts.
Yeah, he sure did.
Well, who do y'all got this week, Morgan, for your game?
Of
Players
course,
the week?
Akari Johnson as the offensive MVP. 431 total yards, 6 touchdowns. He's KTAL TV or something's player of the week. He's another place's player of the week.
Yeah, what was that voting on that was going down this week?
That's for Built Ford Tough. There's going to be a huge announcement on that today.
Right.
We'll find out if he wins that. And then we got Lawson Angel, Redwater defensive player, and he had basically the same game Hadaway did.
Yep.
He's a sophomore. So looking for a big week out of him. And then, of course, next week going into rivalry week, you know, some talk that, you know, Redwater may give him a run.
The Redwater Hooks game shaping up to be a really good game in that district.
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, the all-time stat, what is it, 21-17-1.
Yep.
You know, Hooks leading that series. It's just going to, you know, rivalry week next week's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
Y'all are trying to draw something out of me over here. So,
it's
first
a-
off, there's no rivalry week. It's another week of football for the Hooks Hornets.
Well, Ben and Morgan says there is,
well,
and so
you know-
does the rest of Bowie County.
Yeah, I mean, you're the only person who says this is not a rivalry
I'm not
game.
the only person that says that.
It's blue on blue. It's got to be a
They're
rivalry.
7 miles apart. They're all related. I mean,
It's
Same
it's a
district.
rivalry if I've ever seen one. And the overall, what is it? What did you say it was? 21-17?
23-17 and
23
1.
That's a rivalry.
And I don't know where they dug up this a ridiculous stat, but
This small place called Dave Campbell's.
yeah, and I don't think that's
You think
anywhere
Dave Campbell's is lying on Hooks? Is
Oh
that
yeah, I
what it
think
is?
We
it's
sent him a
not even close to
screenshot,
being
didn't we
accurate.
not?
He don't say, you can't tell him nothing.
Well, I will say this, and I guess this is the nicest way I can put it. If they want to rival, they can rival, and they can make signs, and they can call it a rival. But we don't rival on our side, you know. So, that's the nicest way I could put it. Now, I'm not saying that they ain't got some dudes on their team. Hey, you know, the Pipes kid, he's a definite dude on the defensive line. Lawson
Angel.
Angels is a dude. So I'm not saying that we're not going to worry about them. We're looking past them. I mean, they got some dudes on their team. So, but definitely not a rivalry.
I disagree.
Well, let's move to game of the week this week. This week will be Gilmer at LE, and somehow Gilmer's got 2 weeks in a row to be Texarkana Friday Night Lights game of the week, and they sit at a disappointing 3-3. But this should be a game that LE can come compete because that LE's got weapons, and the defense at Gilmer is very porous. That backside of that defense, I don't ever remember seeing a
Yeah, man, I
Gilmer
don't
team.
understand how they're so bad on defense. And, like, you know, you got to take consideration, all right, we're playing against Akari, but it's not just Akari. Every team they played against,
Well,
what are they giving up, like 50 points a game or
yes,
something?
giving up
They
52.
give up big numbers.
How is that possible?
Well, they gave up 62 to Walnut Grove, and I mean, a lot of people don't realize that's a major red flag that you got problems. I mean, because
How much did Gunter give up against them?
14 Gunner beat them 70-14.
I mean, what I thought I was going to see, and we saw a little bit of it, is play your guys both ways.
And
Play
they
your best both
They
ways.
did not.
They did not do that, which tells me they either knew they couldn't win, or they're playing to make it to the 4th round instead of the 3rd. So they were playing to avoid having to play Carthage early. But I don't think they thought they could win.
Well, I mean, you look at and I'm not taking anything away from these Gilmer kids. They've got a great tradition. They've won for years. But those linebackers and the defensive
Somebody
backs.
saying we lost audio.
Our man Donovan can get that straightened out, though.
All right. But anyway,
somebody may just-
back to
That's probably Thomas Finnegan. He's probably got one of them Go phones he's trying to watch this on.
can you hear us now, Thomas? But anyway, the linebackers and the secondary of Gilmer, they do not look like 4A ball players. And I mean, we did what we wanted to when we wanted to.
Yeah. Well, Pleasant Grove's got a long next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Do we have any updates on Caden Tennyson?
Concussion's the last I heard. I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to play this week, which plays in LE's favor. But I don't. He should be back into it, next
Well,
week.
I heard he was playing Friday, but of course that was on Facebook, so
Well, he's got a concussion in protocol. I think it will exclude him for a week.
it's probably different everywhere you go. Yeah.
Well, I know just
Depends
what
who your backup is.
Yeah.
what I saw out of Gilmer that I think Liberty Allo is definitely going to have to focus on, and the best word I can use is contain, and that's going to be Will Henderson. I think Gilmer gives Liberty Allo all they want of Will. The question is, can Liberty Allo slow the game down enough to be able to beat Gilmer? Because the one thing that has just been so surprising to me is the lack of points that the Liberty Allo offense has scored so far. And so I'm just waiting for the game where they come out and just surprise everybody, because they've got some weapons.
Yeah, and
they are due for that big explosive game.
and they're only averaging 18 points a game, and with the kids they got on offense, that's got to be, a little discouraging. But this is a defense that you can come out and get healthy on. But LE could also score 48 points and lose this game.
Yeah, I mean Gilmer's gonna score points.
And that's the deal. Tennyson, I don't think they would have beat us with Tennyson in the game, but he didn't play for 3 quarters, which, kind of led
Yeah.
to what we did.
But they were down 14-0 when he left.
Yeah, they were going to lose the game.
And that they were about to score when he went out anyway. I mean that was what, 3rd down.
Yep.
They were going to punt. Can't imagine a car he wouldn't have scored. For the Pleasant Grove offense / car.
Yep. Well, let's move to Pittsburgh or Pleasant Grove at Pittsburgh. This is, I want to say, a 40-point spread on this game. Both teams, their former ground and pound teams have moved to the spread. Pleasant Grove's had much more success than Pittsburgh has had with it. And also, one other thing to say, we don't know, but if the numbers continue, this will be the best defense in the Gibson era and possibly the best offense. Just wanted to kind of throw that out there.
mean,
They're giving up 15 points a game.
Like, I don't just walk around saying this, but they look like a state championship team. I mean, they beat Gilmer so bad.
Without Caden McFadden.
I forgot about that. Yeah, without Caden McFadden,
And if they
'cause
wanted,
it's always like, well, it really doesn't matter. Can they beat Carthage?
Right.
They can beat Carthage this year.
I believe that too. I really do believe that. Seeing what Carthage has been doing, and the way that Pleasant Grove has been playing, minus Caden McFadden, who is a playmaker, I really think that. I don't want to say don't worry about that game, but definitely the shot's there.
Well, I think the key to beating Carthage, and the key to even setting up next year is going to be these next 3 to 4 games. And what does Coach Gibson get out of the number 2 guys? Because
they're going to play a lot.
Because there's going to be some required depth when they do match up against Carthage. And so there are going to have to be some 2s that can step up and play that one role for a series or 2. And I'm looking forward to seeing who can step up in this Pittsburgh game for Pleasant Grove.
And Gibson's had some luck issues against Carthage. Just terrible luck. I mean, last year, Lance going out very first series. It's just terrible luck. And then, of course, his best players the last few years getting injured. Because, you're going to have some injuries, but it's always his best of the best.
Right.
That tears ACL or something, or breaks a foot, has some crazy injury,
So the key to PG is to stay healthy, play good ball, and get on down there.
They're playing teams that can't beat them. Probably can't beat the 2s from here on out. And then, LA can put up some points against them next week. But
Except sneaky Spring Hill.
yeah, they ain't worried about that, I don't think. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I mean, I did say LA could beat them as bad as they wanted to. And I know they lost, and I still stand by that. I don't know how that happened. Like some sort of backroom cheating had to have been going on for whatever happened to happen. But were y'all watching when the kid spiked the ball?
I did not see that.
All right. So it's regular time, right? Or is it overtime?
Right, regular.
All right. So regular, it's 4th down. They had 30 seconds left. And so they run up and spike it on 4th down. and they could have just kicked a field goal and won.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
they got lucky and still won, but Spring Hill should not be. I don't know. I didn't watch the entire game, so I don't really know what happened. I thought somebody was messing with us on the app.
Well,
the
so
score.
that's the same thing too. So when you scroll through that app, and you already have in your mind what you think the score should be or who should be winning, and it's a crazy looking score. It's like somebody's playing on that.
Yeah, because anybody can put it in there.
Yeah.
You know, one more thing before we move on from Pleasant Grove that needs to be mentioned is, with the absence of McFadden, that left Ty Boozer to play about 85% of the snaps at Rover, and he did a fantastic job and didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, shout
I
out
mean,
to
that
Boozer.
what a place to be thrown into, Jeff Traylor Stadium.
Yeah.
Well, playing next to Noah Sexton isn't a bad spot to be in.
That's true.
Team leading 53 tackles, and
Does not miss an assignment.
and against this Pittsburgh team, I think Xavier Johnson's going to add to his interception total of 4.
Yep.
He's gonna have to get them quick because they're gonna have to give up about second quarter, unless they want to have 70 points scored on.
Right.
them. That's one thing. Like, I'm not a coach. If I was a coach, if I'm gonna put my 2s in, you better not throw the ball downfield. You throw the ball downfield, I'll put my 1s back in.
Right.
And we can have a go at this. That's always kind of been my rule. Is like, if it's not third down, you better run a draw play.
Right. Oh, for
if,
sure.
if I'm going to take the foot off the pedal, you better play by the rules.
Yeah, you don't need to try to come back and win the game or try to put up, try to make it look like it was a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so we'll see. I have a feeling Tristan or Coach Abron probably start running draw plays mid-second quarter.
Let's move on to Redwater at Chisholm. This big week, Redwater's 3-3. Came off a big win over Prairie Land. Redwater really should be sitting at 4-3. They lost, or they didn't get to finish their Winona game. But the big thing about Redwater this week is Redwater can clinch a playoff spot with a win at Chisholm.
Look for Redwater to get that win going to rivalry week. Looking for a winning streak.
That's another thing, I put on here about the rivalry. They can clinch a playoff and they go in and play, the people they want to beat the most.
Yeah,
a lot to play for in
knock off hooks,
Dragonland.
put them in a good spot to win the district.
Well, so I'll say this, not saying Redwater doesn't have a good team, but they let Prairie Land carry them 16-16 into the fourth quarter. So that kind of shows you a little bit about where they're at.
I've heard about those refs on that side of the sulfur from other people at this table. So,
the
I
officiating.
heard y'all cherry pick y'all's refs. Heard they might be hook.
Hey, actually-
heard they might be hooks employees.
Hey, I don't know if Jason Roy is watching, but hey, we had Billy Roy down there in Hooks last week.
Did y'all really?
We sure did. But I will say this: you get over in Lamar County around Paris, hey, it's a little different breed of I think they got a little different Tasso club over there. I don't really know, but it's a little different. But
No comment from the Pleasant Grove side of that.
yeah,
So, look for Redwater to beat Chisholm this week. This is a game they can't lose.
Well, Hooks did score 62,
and here's the deal.
so that'll be a measure that we can talk about next week.
I'd say Redwater scores 65.
But
I
see, the
say
thing about
Redwater
Chisholm-
doesn't have to score that much. They ain't got nothing to prove. They're
Right.
going to show out on hooks next week.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But it just the Chisholm team they showed up with 18 kids. One kid rolled his ankle or something early in the game, so they were down to 17. I kind of feel bad for that program over there. I don't know what's going on over there, or they're a basketball school or whatever. But
Did you go there?
Where?
I thought I saw a picture of you at Chisholm.
Somebody dug up some picture and it kind of looked like me, but
Yeah.
I don't think it was me. They showed it up there last week, and Donovan. I hope Donovan don't have it back there trying to flick it back up there, but yeah, good job, Donovan. But I just Chisholm is just they're down bad number wise, kid wise, but should be a easy win for the Dragons.
While we're talking about a team over in that area, wanted to bring up, and we posted on the group earlier this week, and it went for 400,000 views. The Honey Grove Warriors have outscored their opponents 289-0 thus far in the season, and Honey Grove is one of the top teams in 2A Division II.
Where's Honey Grove?
Honey Grove south of Paris.
How have I never heard of this team?
So
What are they, a 1A school?
2A.
no, they're 2A.
2A
so,
Division II.
So I've heard of them
Never
before.
heard of them.
Yeah, I mean I've heard.
No,
of
they're
them.
2A Division I. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I've heard of them before. They're not far from Cooper. It's like, what are they, 30 minutes from Cooper?
Maybe.
Yeah. Ben shared that post. I don't even know where you got it from.
I just got my
Anyway,
resources.
it went viral. How many views? How many shares?
400,000 and close to 1,000 shares.
Yeah. So I was kind of wondering. I was like, hey man, why's this taking off? So I kind of started reading it. You know, they haven't gave up a single point all year. Well, Cooper people got involved, and they're saying that is not going to happen when you come down here to Cooper. And they're playing at Cooper, and I know what Cooper looks like. I can't see Cooper not scoring. You know what I mean?
I mean, is this one of them classic cases of they ain't playing nobody?
Well, I think they're probably a good, solid coach team, and they do have a kid that has been offered by Vanderbilt. They've got playing 2A ball, got an SEC offer. But no, I mean, and this is nothing against Hooks, but it's kind of the same thing with Hooks. Them and Cooper are just superior to everybody else in the district, where you got Hooks and then you kind of got everybody else.
Say that again. You got Hooks and
you got
everybody
Hooks.
else.
Okay, in your district.
Possibly
that,
on
man.
upset alert next week.
Yeah, well, I mean, rivalry week, things happen.
Anything happens in a rivalry game. I mean, they almost knocked you off in basketball last year.
That's still Coach Jackson put in the starters.
No, they were down.
You
Yeah,
were at the game. You seen
yeah,
it.
I was there. You were not. Hooks was down at halftime.
Hey, Coach,
And that's where this rivalry game started. He started
man-
talking about it was a rivalry game.
my man Coach Jackson said, "All right, here we go. Starting 5. Let's go out here." And when the second half ran off, you seen what happened.
I mean, y'all won by like 5. You act
Won
like
by
it was
5.
a blowout.
Won by 15.
Nah, you won maybe by 5. It was close till the very end.
I hope you got that in archives. We're going to go back and watch that.
Well, we've already showed him, the record between Hooks and Redwater, and he tries to dispute it, but cannot disprove it.
That is true.
I don't need to disprove it. I'm telling you.
Buddy, what you say is not the Bible.
Well, I didn't say it was the Bible.
I'm
but
just saying. I fact check 90% of what you say.
Here's the deal: you look at Auburn and Alabama. Alabama's won 58% of the games, 42 to Auburn.
It's a rivalry game.
Much like Redwater Hooks, very close. They've only played 40 years here, where Auburn has played 100 years. But a lot of similarities right there.
Big Worm has a question for you.
He's just trying to get me riled up this
I
morning.
feel this kind of like what y'all are doing to me about this whole rivalry week. And and Ben even wrote it on his paper, and I can't believe that.
What did he write?
This dude wrote rivalry game
Next week,
next week. Hey, I will tell you this though.
I tell you what's not a rivalry game.
What's that?
Cowboys and 49ers.
That
was straight trash.
woo. Hey, how big is Bosa?
Bosa's one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen. I was in the team facility Saturday, and I was talking to Trent, so he came up. I was talking to him for a minute, and I remember last year when I went and did their game, everything dude, this dude's huge.
Right.
Dude had his shirt off, freaking swolled up. His arms don't look real. Like they're like that big around.
Right.
Like they're bigger than my freaking thighs, and like they just don't look real. Like he doesn't look real as a person. But he was a super nice guy.
Right, for sure.
And then Brock Purdy shot Walker a little video for him. He was super nice to me, but it was pretty cool. Check out the locker room and all that.
Yeah, that one picture you posted of Bosa, I guess, pregame or whatever. The vertical pictures you said people could use for screensavers or whatever.
Yeah.
He does not look human.
No, man, he. And you know what? I saw his mom before the game. She's a large human.
oh well.
Like she's 6'3".
Right.
Like and I didn't see the dad, but I'm sure we can look him up online. But they're just
Big people.
Well,
big
yeah.
people, super, all of them super nice. I mean, all the players are there, so it was a cool
I
experience.
wonder how big Kelsey's mom is. I mean, I see her all the time,
I
but
have
I
no
never see her
idea.
standing up.
She's not a looker.
Looks pretty big compared to Taylor Swift.
Now, who's Jason Cooper?
Huh?
Who's Jason Cooper?
What'd Coop say?
That's the first person I've ever saw actually agree with Buddy on this.
Yeah, so Coop is a Hooks alumni. He was a quarterback for the Hooks Hornets for several years. He knows, just like everybody else. Y'all don't know. Y'all ain't from here. Being you moved here in 2010, you're just over here just talk. I guess the only person up here on this set that would have to agree with me, if he doesn't agree with me, he'll be lying, is Jay. Jay knows it's not a rivalry.
I mean, the record book says otherwise.
Well, y'all were a rival with PG when y'all were in the same district, and now that's gone away. You have to be a rival with who's geographically close to you, similarity of people, similarity of talent.
Queen City, Atlanta, and I'd bet you their win-loss isn't as close as yours.
Yeah, it was.
Dangerfield, Hughes Springs.
PGLE.
But, that's like them their towns are way closer, though.
Texas High, Arkansas High.
It doesn't make sense.
James Bowie, Maud.
I guess I'd pick DeKalb would be our rival.
Redwater,
You can't pick
Hooks.
your rival. That isn't how that works. That's not how that works. You can't decide who your rival's going to be that year.
If I had to pick
He
one
wants
now,
he wants to pick one that they can beat. See, that's why he's
see, I
not
got
saying.
you. I got
That's why
you.
he's
well,
saying
okay,
Redwater's not
okay.
the rival.
If you want, okay, here we go. If you want to pick a rival that you can beat, we'll pick Redwater because we're going to beat the brakes off of them.
Oh,
Hey,
Shots
And we
fired.
do every year.
hey, that's going to be bulletin board material.
41-7 last year.
Quiz.
Repeat this year.
Gavin's going to throw about 4 touchdowns to Quiz.
Hey, it could possibly do it. Gavin's their dude. I mean, Quez is their dude. I'm not saying it ain't going that couldn't happen. I mean, well, you've seen their stats and what they've been doing.
Hey, Buddy last night
Here,
broke out.
here's my notes. What does that say at the bottom?
Redwater win by 38.
No. I think Marquez may have a career night this week against Chisholm, and that's going to open him up for a good game against Hooks.
I can't wait for Rivalry Week. I got so much content for y'all. I got so much content for this game.
Yeah, that little bit of content that I made yesterday did not go over very well.
What happened? What are you talking about?
Jay knows. Jay helped me out with it.
Easy now.
Did you show it on at walk-ons?
No, it was before walk-ons, but yeah.
Had some more Hooks defectors. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, we thought so, but kind of took it kind of rough. So, all right, Ben, what's next up on the list?
We got Ashdown at Nashville. Ashdown's 3-3. Nashville's 4-2. Nashville's, they need a win to kind of get healthy. They've struggled this year. They got a kid in Braden Walton that could play anywhere here in town at wide receiver. He's a good-looking athlete. You go over to the Nashville side. You got Carson Chambers and Trey Hopkins combined for 14 touchdowns. I see Nashville winning by 14 to 21 points. And Nashville, they're a very proud program in the state of Arkansas. They did come over here and played PG a couple times. It didn't work out as good.
Chambers is only a sophomore too.
Yep. And there were some big shoes to fill with Sloan Perrin leaving last year, who is playing at Henderson now.
And their leading running back is also a sophomore.
Yeah, Trey Hopkins.
So it's going to be. I'm talking about Tucker Dixon.
Oh, you're okay.
So I mean, they're loaded. They're loaded for a couple years in a row.
Ben, does Nashville play Murfreesboro?
No, sir. Murfreesboro's 2A and Nashville's 4A.
Okay.
But that should be, it should be a good game on the Arkansas side. And then we'll go over here and we can talk about this one for a minute because, just a lot to talk about. Texas High at Marshall. Marshall's coming off a 17-7 loss at Mount Pleasant. And
Texas High beats them by 80. Marshall won't let us stream.
Really? What's the reason?
Just don't have room for us. Won't let us use the internet.
Really?
Won't let us have a spot on the camera deck. Anything we say, all right, we'll do this, they have a reason why we can't do it. So, yeah, Jerry, beat them by about 85. Do that.
And they've got the ability to do it.
I hope they do.
And they should be a lot healthier this week than they have been in the past few.
Well, it's a stat week. Let them get their stats. Marshall doesn't have bad players. They just don't have a bunch of players, if that makes sense.
Well, every time they get a good one, they go to Carthage. So
there's a lot of truth to that, too. But maybe if they stream their games, maybe, players get a little bit more exposure.
Well, Marshall's only averaging 22 points a game offensively, so this is not going to be.
Look for David J to go wild.
I mean,
down there.
after the first quarter, I think this game is.
I guess in their defense, though, Longview's given up like 9 points a game. They had to play Longview. They played another really good team.
they played Carthage.
They played Kilgore too, didn't they?
I believe so.
Yeah, Kilgore hadn't given up a whole bunch of points. I don't know what Carthage has given up, but Texas High has given up some points this year. But they're going to put a lot on the board.
Well, they're going to score.
And you always see that if a team scores 60, they ain't going to beat somebody 60 to nothing typically. I mean, the other team's going to score just because you're putting up so many points. There's just a lot of opportunity.
The TI defense, they're only giving up 24 points, and at that level, I think that's pretty healthy, especially when you got an offense that's going to score as quick as they
Marshall's
scoring as well.
Possibly a playoff team in that district too. I mean, you get past Texas High and White House, it's kind of open.
Sneaking there at that 4th spot.
Yeah, and I think Mount Pleasant's going to finally get back in the playoffs this year. Nacogdoches doesn't have much. Pine Tree doesn't have much.
Well, I think this game sets up a little bit like Pleasant Groves. I think you'll see a lot of the twos, third quarter, fourth quarter for Texas High. So it'll be interesting to just see that growth that they have through that game.
So, Morgan, when you call down there to Marshall and say, hey, we want to come stream the game, they didn't say, hey, let me check on it, let me see what's going on?
No, I have a guy that does all that, Doty, and he said, yeah, they seem real accommodating. And then he drove down there, wasted half his day to drive down there, and they were just not accommodating. So,
and it's just to get at y'all, basically.
Basically, yeah. I mean, it can be done, but they make it so difficult that you just like Longview did it, but took 19 hours of setup,
Right.
Which is ludicrous. It shouldn't take more than an hour and a half, But like he spent 19 hours over there figuring out a solution just to stream, and they still didn't want him to. So this comes about, and they're like, well, we're just not gonna. We're just not going to give you a camera space. We're not, you know what I mean? Like nothing. And it's just at a 5A school, in my opinion, I expect that if we go to let's say Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh's accommodating.
Right.
And we're going to be able to do the game. Like Pittsburgh's accommodating.
I mean,
a 5A school, there's no reason you should not be accommodating.
Who would not want their kids to be publicized?
Well, I mean, I guess somebody knows they're about to get beat, but
it's about winning and losing.
The point isn't that they don't want it. The point is, it's not an option. How is it not an option at a 5A school?
Right.
You think you are the only people that care about your football program?
So does Marshall stream their own games?
I have no idea. I have no idea if they stream their games. I just know they ain't going to let us stream it.
Right.
So, and it's not even my say, but I hope Texas High keeps receipts for next year.
I like that. Keep them
Put
receipts.
it on them.
Keep them receipts.
Speaking of, Coach Prime, did you hear the latest thing everybody's crying about? Shadur flashed his Rolex to the Arizona State fans, and they were highly offended.
Everybody's offended about something. I mean, just look at Buddy Shelton.
I'm not
You can't
offended.
even. You can show him real numbers, and he gets offended.
I am definitely not offended about anything.
Speaking of that,
You sounded offended earlier.
do y'all have any rivalry week festivities planned at Hooks?
Absolutely zero. I mean, we'll have the regular old pep rally, get our kids pepped up, team pepped up, ready to go.
So y'all have pep rallies for away games?
Yeah, for sure.
Or rivalry games?
Y'all don't have pep rallies
Hey, so
every
check
week.
this
Y'all
out.
don't have pep rallies every
Hey,
week.
so check this
Hey,
out.
look at it. They don't have pep rallies every week. They're
So-
having one the next week though.
So the only good thing that I can say that's probably going to come out of this game is if you want to come over there and watch it, you'll be in for a good show because Hooks is going to show out. But the band, Redwater Band Boosters, runs the concession stand on the visitor side, and they cook some of the best food that I've had at a football game. You're damn right. Hey, old Donovan knows. Hey, them Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, I kind of look forward to that. I was kind of glad that we're back playing Redwater at home. I'm going to smoke down some Philly cheesesteaks.
How much are tickets going for? I heard $20 on the internet.
$20 on the internet.
Didn't you see that, Morgan?
I can't co-sign on that one.
Being up here capping.
What's that mean?
Well, you know what it means.
Ben's up here cowboy capping.
Cowboy capping.
That's a big time lie.
Well, let's move on to our recap here. Go back. Pleasant Grove Gilmer has to be one of the best wins in the Gibson era. They said after the game that they hadn't lost. The way it sounded, they hadn't lost a home game in 16 years, which it wasn't accurate. I don't No,
He said playoffs, but I don't think my mic picked it up because I heard him say,
I
not
think
playoffs, district.
Yeah, well, then he come back and said it was third time in district, but I think what was meant to be said is anybody other than Carthage in district has not beat them in 16 years, because I went back and looked it up, and they had lost 5 games in the past 8 years, but guess who those 5 were to? Carthage.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd lost all these games at Jeff Traylor Stadium to Carthage, but still, nonetheless, they'd lost 3 district games in 21 years.
Yeah.
And, it was us, Lindale, and I can't remember the third one, but, I mean, something to really be proud of.
Yeah. Gilmer's, they're a proud program, and rightfully so.
I was disappointed in the Gilmer crowd a little bit. I don't know if you could see it from your, being up at the.
I think that I saw what you were talking about, but their stands are a lot bigger.
Well, I know they're big, but like I've been there in the past where there was not a seat to be had.
I know,
there.
man. They were freaking, 3-2. That isn't exciting for a Gilmer fan.
Right.
It's just. I don't know about their fan base, but
I know it's uncharted
I think
water.
once the playoffs start, I think you'll see that support roll back in for them. But the fans that were there, they were loud.
And unless they lose tomorrow night, they're going to be the 2 seed.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And I don't foresee them. Because Liberty Allo, Liberty Allo is going to have to. They're going to have to finish out strong to lock that second seed.
Yeah. I mean,
hey, Tyler Hare's watching. My cousin's watching. Need to get you on here, Tyler. Next week, rivalry week. Hey, Tony Basso's going to be on next week.
Yeah, a good old Tony.
I like Tony.
I seen him at walk-on. Was he a walk-on last
He
night?
was at walk-ons
I thought I
last
seen him
night. He
sitting
said he
over
was
there.
on standby, but he said something stupid.
Yeah.
well, our next game is Spring Hill LE, 34-28 loss for the Leopards in double overtime. That's kind of a heartbreaker. That's one that they wish they had back.
I can imagine.
North
One I wish they had back.
North Lamar and Pitt, 14-7 North Lamar. Don't look now, but North Lamar is 5-1.
And
How?
yeah, that's
Who are they? Who they been playing?
That's like
I think they played a bunch of 3A Division II teams.
they're not good at baseball.
They're not good at baseball.
No, they're good at baseball.
Well, it sounds like they're good at football.
Apparently, because they come out of nowhere.
I'm not used to ever hearing.
North Lamar or Spring Hill whipping folks.
Well, the past 5 or 6 years, it's been the same 4 playoff teams: Gilmer, LE, Pitt, PG. And this year, it looks like it's going to change a little bit.
I'm going down to Longview. What's today? Thursday? Tomorrow. Doing the Longview game Friday. Playing North Mesquite at home. Hadn't been to a Longview home game this year. Looking forward to that.
That should be a good atmosphere.
Longview. Those fans. You talk about like some serious fans. Those fans are serious.
I'll tell you what, speaking of Longview, one of the best games I've ever been to, and it was an absolute beatdown, PG of Gilmer, was in 19 when we played them down there in round 4.
Yeah,
Remember
man, that was a good game.
And, there was not a seat in the house, and that's a big stadium.
Yeah. And it ended up being a blowout, but, man, that was a great atmosphere. Great atmosphere.
It was wonderful.
Yeah. I remember Coach Fuller running down the sideline on that pick 6. Sergio's maybe?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
And I think that was definitely one of the games that year for me that stood out the most, just because it was Gilmer.
So many people.
I consider at this point in time, Gilmer PG, that's the rivalry game.
Absolutely.
There's definitely no game other than deep in the playoffs do I look forward to each and every year besides that one.
Well, that decides your district championship right there.
Yeah.
Right. Basically, yeah.
And now, it's like you look ahead to Carthage. Like, I'm going to really start paying attention to Carthage now because, it's happening in round 4.
And the thing is, if PG
Round
beats
3 this year, I guess.
PG beats Carthage, it's got to be this year.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
Carthage has got – they're still Carthage. Make no mistake about it. Take nothing away from it. There's some chinks in the armor. I mean, you look at Baby Surratt. He's still growing. He's still making mistakes. He's there's a lot of hype about him, a lot of good things to come, but this is the year to get them.
When they turned in their snapshot, because they were at 800 last time, the 4A Division I was 801. Carthage turned in 800.
Absolutely insane. It's almost like do something to
if
us.
something like that happens again, like what is it going to take for the UIL to hey, maybe we need to go check this out?
Well,
We
I'll
need to go
tell
and
you,
do a head count.
It's not just that.
Right.
They need to look at a few things.
Well, the
Right.
UIL did come in this year because you got the Aaron Hampton situation.
Well, no, they ended up not coming in.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Because they sent the kids back, supposedly.
3 kids, one from Pine Tree, one from Kilgore, and Aaron Hampton, go and roll at Carthage. Certain people, I won't say online, dug their heels in, and Carthage yells calf rope, and all 3 of those kids are playing at their previous school.
Yeah.
Well, our next score, Jefferson 71, White Oak 18. Jefferson is sneaky good. They got Cameron Williams, the running back, averaging 228 yards a game with a Michigan offer. Atlanta goes to Sabine.
Hold on, Jefferson's got a running back with a Michigan offer?
Absolutely. Cameron
wow.
Williams.
He's a dude too.
I mean, he's 228 yards on the ground. Just,
You got a Michigan offer as a running back.
you can play ball.
You're a top 10 running back in the country.
Sure.
Michigan don't hand those things out.
Then we've got Atlanta and Sabine, 40-37. That doesn't look like a big win, but Sabine, I don't know his name, but they have got a dude at quarterback.
I've never heard that before.
Well, actually, it's your guy, Jay, telling me about it last week.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. Historically, I've never
Yeah,
heard,
well, yeah.
heard somebody say that.
But I mean, it's kind of that's all they've got. It's him. Lakeside beat Arkansas 34-31. That's one the Hogs wish they had back. Redwater beat Prairie Land 32-16. They should win this week. Got a chance to win next week. DeKalb 64.
Anything can happen in a rivalry game.
Puget 21.
I would like to
Not
see
happening. Not happening.
like what would happen if the kick six happened in the Redwater Hooks game?
What kick six?
The Auburn Alabama kick six.
Oh my god.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, man.
It's not even going to be that close.
Let's say hypothetically, what will you do if y'all lose next week?
I don't even have to think about it.
Would
'cause
you
it's not
would you
happening.
denounce Hooks and switch over to Redwater?
Never. No, I don't even have to think about that because it's not.
You keep saying it's not going to happen, but
Bro.
That's when things happen.
that's when things happen exactly.
Hey.
And you act like y'all have won 80% of the games.
When in theory you've won 40 or 55% of the games.
I'm not even talking about past. Man, I don't
You
even want to talk
don't
about
wanna
that.
talk about the past
I'm
now.
just saying. I'm just saying. I know what the Hooks has got. I mean, I know our kids. I know what Redwater's got. I mean, it's a 40-6 game.
No way.
All right, and last week we had Hooks 62, Chisholm 6, Mineral Springs 42, DeKalb 6. Next week, Mineral Springs head coach Jason Hathcock is going to be on the show here. A class act in State Arkansas, #1 ranked Hornets in 2A. Murfreesboro, #9 ranked team in 2A in Arkansas, 54, Horatio 0. Prescott, the #1 ranked team in 3A in Arkansas, 54, Falk 0. James Bowie 46-12 over Maud in the rivalry game.
If you're a football fan, Texarkana is a great place to be right now.
It's historic.
You've got all the games that you can want to watch each and every weekend.
I don't know about that. I'd like to see Texas High, Arkansas High. I'd like to see Texas High, Pleasant Grove. I'd like to see Liberty Ilo, Arkansas High. So don't be speaking for everybody, Jay. There are some games I'd like to see,
Yeah, them are some good.
but
games.
evidently we're just never going to.
I'm just saying the teams around here.
Everybody's
we're having
good,
some success.
but man, you know how great it would be if like all these teams just played each other.
Right, for sure.
Like if Hooks came to PG or something, like it
Right.
would just be a great atmosphere. If PG played Arkansas High,
Well, next
you know,
year,
like it would eliminate a lot of this travel for everybody.
Right.
next year, with the new schedules coming out, Pleasant Grove has ran into that Brock scenario where in the non-conference, nobody really wants to play them. There would be some opportunities for local teams if they would play PG to play them next year.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. There is opportunity, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Lance
I'd like to see PG Atlanta. I'd like to see Liberty Ilo Hooks.
Yep, that'd be a good
something
game.
like that. Like
Yeah,
it's not a lot of travel for anybody. Both teams are going to get better.
You're going to fill the stands.
Yeah, the stands are going to fill up. And that's the main thing. Give a great atmosphere for everybody.
Yeah, and Liberty Ilo, they were in my district when I was in school. Well, PG was in there too, but and it was a 99. They won the state championship. I mean, they literally beat the brakes off of us that year. But they beat the brakes off everybody. But it was a good matchup. I mean, I ain't gonna say matchup. I guess. I mean, it was a good atmosphere.
One thing, we've been giving Buddy a hard time, but one thing we need to brag on Hooks for is everybody's talking about the wonderful turnout last night by the Hooks fans
Yeah, man, they
and
showed up.
kids and coaches at the walk-ons takeover,
Yeah.
and that's does not go unnoticed.
Buddy and Bates did a great job on set. I enjoyed it. I went
Yeah.
up there. Brought the little one too. Kids are always nice to my kids. So
Yeah, I feel like we had a big turnout last night. I think our kids really enjoyed it.
they were doing Hooks chants.
Yeah.
Who y'all got next week on takeover?
Won't have it next week. We'll have it the week after.
Who's the week after?
Hadn't decided yet. Thinking maybe A&M,
Okay.
but hadn't decided yet. Got to see what Jay's doing.
I should be free.
Yeah.
All right, we may do A&M then.
Well, do y'all have anything else this week for episode 9?
Very disappointed in the Cowboys. Borderline embarrassed.
It's like they can't
That was
get out.
that was a rough game.
They cannot get out of their own way.
Dak's
Man.
not the dude. For some reason, I don't.
I mean, he just
I
had a
knew he
bad
wasn't the
game,
dude when they
but,
drafted
like,
him.
In between timeouts, the body language was terrible. I mean,
Right.
like, can't even describe to you how terrible the body language was.
Well, the game that hurt my feelings more than the Cowboy game was the game that
Yeah.
occurred in Dallas on Saturday.
I just
Okay.
don't know how you go from
You knew that was
winning
gonna
by
happen.
60 to losing the next year with a better team.
Yeah.
Like, how does that happen?
Well, here's a lesson for Buddy in rivalry games. All I heard last week was they was fitting the rings for those Longhorns, and Oklahoma couldn't step on the field. You see what happens? You can't take nobody lightly.
Oh, Father Gabriel.
Man, that kid does not look like he can play 1 ounce of ball, but he is a gamer.
You know, and I told several of my friends last week because they were riding that same high horse. Texas, a repeat of last year. Repeat. It's going to be the same. We're even better. Da-da-da. And I was like, hey, man, you might want to calm that down a little bit, you know. And then they didn't speak to me the rest of the weekend from the game. I had one of them that did not reach back out to me until Monday. He stayed in hiding.
That's what I wanted to do.
Depression did set in for a little bit.
So I'm staying at the 49ers team hotel, and then after the game, you can't get a ride back, but it's only like a mile. So I walk back to the hotel, and not one of these 49ers fans are in their room.
Right.
They are just outside, booing at Cowboys fans, literally laughing in their faces. Like, it was
Talking trash to
Oh
them.
my God. It was like the JV kids just beat the varsity kids. Finally, yes,
Right.
let's talk trash, you know. And I mean, it was brutal. And of course, I wasn't wearing any Cowboy stuff, but it was rough, man. And those fans, the 49ers fans, they really are like cutthroat, super cutthroat.
See, even Lance Waller doesn't even agree with your stat.
I mean, you can't argue with Dave Campbell's. Y'all got an issue, holler at Dave Campbell's.
Yeah.
See,
I don't
Akari's
even
watching.
know.
Hey, Cam Silverman, Mr. Super Producer's watching. Works down there at Queen City now. Superman's watching with Kari Johnson. My buddy Jacob Johnson is watching.
Yeah, we got several people. watching.
Anyway, it's 8:04. I know Buddy's got to get back to work. That he took this unapproved time off.
Yeah, that's what they always try to accuse me of that.
Well, I enjoyed the show this morning.
Man, you did a good job.
Well, thank you.
Man, you did a
Y'all
good
are
job.
finally getting better. You learned how to talk.
Right.
Well, baby steps, Morgan.
I heard
Baby
that. Well,
steps.
season's gonna be over quick. Y'all need to figure it out.
Well, all right, guys. I guess we just end. What's this? Episode 8.
Episode 9.
Episode 9.
Thank you.
Number 10 be rivalry week on the sideline.
There we go. Jay still gonna keep it going.
All right. See y'all next week.